Welcome. How is everyone? It's been an interesting week, to say the least. I'm so glad you guys are here. We got a good show today. We got some things to talk about. You know. Rack them up. Let's get it. We got some good stuff to talk about today. So today we're gonna talk about. Yeah, I know.
Oh my God!
It happened, guys. I mean, if you haven't seen the news and things, it went down.
Oh hell no!
So let's talk about it. So, Ashley, this woman is named Ashley Robinson. She's from Jersey, but she's pretty. She's pretty. She's chocolatey. She's rare. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she went down to Miami to mix in, pretty much, and bolster her brand. You know what I mean? And she did well for herself. And she got with this guy. Joe McCann, and he seems to be a prominent financial figure in the tech world, or he was per se. You know what I mean? And she used him and he used her. You know what I mean? And so, what makes this case so special? She was a popular social media figure, and okay, well, let me set up the premise. She went on vacation. This was supposed to be like the everything of everything. It was her birthday. It was her vacation, a birthday vacation. It was her birthday, a birthday vacation, a 5-star resort, right? Luxurious safari excursions, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's go. The works, and not to mention, he proposed to her on this vacation. Oh my God. She was living the dream, guys. She was living the dream. I know. She was living the dream. And so you can Google this all day long, up and down, left, right. She was they were arguing the entire time of the trip by a claim of the hotel staff. They were arguing. They had to separate rooms. Now here's where it gets dicey. This is where you start putting on your first 48 brain. You know what I'm saying? They separated rooms, right? And then he went back with security to check up on her. And then they found her dead.
Oh hell no!
So now they found her dead, and then he don't communicate with the family until like 11 hours later. So what happened in them 11 hours? Huh? What happened in them 11 hours? Yeah, he don't communicate with the family until like 11 hours later. Then they seize his passport, and I don't know if they still have they still seized his passport. Google it, whatever. They supposedly they seized his passport. As I'm recording this, I don't know if they still have the passport seized, but up to a certain point they seized his passport. And yeah, the jig was up. So yeah. Now let me get into what makes this case so special. The divestors are being called to the front of the class, and it's not looking good. And they got egg on their face right now.
Oh my God!
It's not looking good. So, and per the usual, none of them are discussing it, or none of them are publicly discussing it, or on their profiles, on their channels, or anything. None of them are addressing it. None of them are. They're all trying to sweep it under the rug, like the female narcissists that they are. Now, for those who may not know, and once again, the divestor movement it's a small group of black women who basically hate black men, but it's a small group of black women, mainly of continental African descent. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep a spade a shovel. You know what I'm saying? Who are very vain and materialistic and trauma ridden. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep a spade a shovel. And they've trauma bonded to form this movement where they are going to turn their backs on the men who look like them and climb the social racial hierarchy ladder, per se. They're out here pedestalizing white men simply because they're white and they have status and privilege, right? And they're being exposed right now. This is all exposure in the worst way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no. And this whole divester movement is kind of springboarded by the whole soft life, you know what I'm saying? Rest in my feminine, yeah. You know what I mean? That whole stuff. And the whole sprinkle thing by my homegirl, She-Ra7. I call her my homegirl because I knew her before she blew up. And the whole sprinkle movement, where this kind of orchestrated gold digging, you know, Crimson Cure, one of my favorite YouTubers, like, she calls it sex work or sex work adjacent. The sex workers or they're sex work adjacent, which was bars to me. So they're being called to the front of the class right now by this entire situation. And the irony, this is the kicker. This is what's causing so much social discourse. Rack 'em up. The irony is that the tables are being turned. You know, the black women, the black women, and especially the divester black women, they celebrated when Kevin Samuels died. They danced on his grave. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. They did it outwardly and publicly. You know, women are naturally emotional, so they have a tendency to take things and run with it. You know what I mean? It's not the best of the best. You know, so you know, it was a very ugly display of character, and black men sat back and watched this like, okay, okay, and so yeah, when this something like this happens, we just like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? Another day at the office. You know what I mean? And then you know, the black women are like, oh my God, y'all don't care, y'all are like, oh, why?
Oh my God!
Why? You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's not the case.
Oh hell no!
It's not the case. It's kind of like, you know, fairness isn't pretty. Fairness isn't pretty. And you know, when it's hard to feel sorry for someone. It's hard to feel sorry for the hunter when the rabbit got the gun. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is. Like, come on, let's call a spade a shovel once again. It's hard to feel sorry for the hunter when the rabbit got the gun. You know what I mean? So, there have been other incidents. This, like I said, she's not the first or the last, right? It's sad to say she's not the last, right? But what makes this hurt so bad is the fact that this gentleman is, if not getting away with it, he's trying to get away with it. You know what I mean? We know he did the shit. We like, come on, bro. They separated rooms because you killed her. You know what I'm saying? You did the shit. You did it. The whole separated rooms part, that's because he killed her. You know what I'm saying? Whatever little bit of bread he had, he booked another room, went to security and said, hey, listen, I'm gonna give you this, and you're not gonna see this. All right? Bet. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really what went down. You know what I'm saying? In them countries, man, and everybody on the internet has been saying this. You know, a little bit of US dollar goes a long way in them countries. I know, it's terrible. A little bit of dollar goes a long way in them countries. So there's been other incidents. There was the Milwaukee girl that got chopped up on a first date. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought there would be some uproar behind that. Like, what the fuck? Like, come on. I thought there would be some uproar behind that. There's the Lauren Tate girl who took a nap, went on a date with a guy and took a nap, and then took a nap. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh hell no!
Then there's that interracial couple with the black girl who's a stripper, chocolatey girl, mind you. A lot of these chocolatey girls are lashing out. Like, the dark skin rage is dark skinning. Like, yo, what's going on? Yo, we love y'all. We love your chocolatiness. Like, come over here. Come give me a hug. Come give me a hug. Come here, boo. Come here. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, chill, just chill. Just chill. Give me a hug. You know what I mean? But the chocolatey girls are chocolatying. You know what I mean? This interracial couple, like big dude, 6'6", solid. You know what I'm saying? Look like he was probably a bouncer at her strip club, and she fell in love with him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she moved to Hawaii, but then come to find out he was broke and she was paying his way. But she tried to make it look like, and I'm pretty sure this is a similar situation. You know what I mean? But okay, you know, yeah, this is some. And then there was the two guys. A Nigerian dude used to went on the internet talking shit about black women, and then his white girlfriend killed him. And I think there was another guy. I remember there was the Gene guy, the both of them Gene guy, who's dating a cop, and then she killed him, and she you know, so yeah, you know, and when the tables turn like this, you can't pray to God. You know what I'm saying? You got to pray to karma. Because at the end of the day, karma answer prayers way quicker. Way quicker. You know what I mean? But I want to get into this. I want to touch on this a little bit, just out of respect for the family. So a lot of people, and once again, before I go into this topic, this part of the topic, my condolences to the family. You know what I'm saying? Losing a child is losing a child. You know what I mean? Nothing more, nothing less. So my condolences to the family. But now that we got that out the way, let's delve into this. A lot of, you know, you got people who are saying like, oh, this ain't got nothing to do with it. I don't care. I think it has something to do with it. So the parents are no longer together. You know, once again, all of us are an amalgam of our environment and our experiences. Okay, bet the parents are no longer together. And the father, you know what I'm saying? he stayed on code. You know what I mean? And then look who he's with, right? And then look at the mom. I mean, let's look at the mom. You know what I'm saying? Like who's she with? You know what I mean? So now, you know, very beautiful, very chocolatey people. You know what I'm saying? Got a very beautiful chocolatey daughter. You know what I mean? Sons typically take up after their fathers if their father's in their life, and girls do the same. We gonna talk about it? We gonna talk about it or what? What we gonna do? We gonna talk about it? You know what I'm saying? So there's footage. You could Google this girl. You could YouTube her, whatever. She has footage and posts of her talking crazy, talking spicy, talking reckless to and about black men. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. She's a Miami thot. Like, it is what it is.
Oh my God!
So yeah, you know, like, what's up? There's a speculation. There's a social speculation, nothing criminal, but there's a social speculation that, you know, mothers being mothers and their relationship with their daughters, she kind of groomed her and encouraged her, and in a behind the father's back kind of way, supported her and you know, nudged her towards this lane. And this is where she gets the confidence to have over 10 years of social media posts talking reckless and crazy and spicy about black men. This shit is glaring. Like, let's keep it a bean. This shit is just glaring. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so we see the root, and now we can get a better understanding of the fruit. Regardless of what anybody wants to say or feel, it just is what it is. Your eyes don't lie.
Oh hell no!
So yeah, we could put that right there. You know what I'm saying? But once again, condolences to the family. So now that I'm done freestyling, let's get into my notes and the more mapped out thoughts on the matter, touching on the criminal element as well as the social element. All right. So the death of ashleejenae is more than a personal tragedy. It is a case study in the collapse of high-stakes, image-based relationship. While the internet has turned this into a proxy war over racial divestment and gender politics, the core of the situation lies in the dangerous intersection of ego and instability, financial pressure, and social media vanity. Nasty work.
Oh my God!
The core driver, the flex, and the financial collapse. Oh, and that's another thing too I wanted to get into. I wanted to get into what could have caused the drama? Where could the drama have started? Because, you know, people flex on the internet, you know, as a hobby and for a living, you know what I'm saying? But it shouldn't be lethal, right? Like, so what could have led up to this? I want to get into that. So who was flexing more? The answer suggests a mutually destructive cycle of brand maintenance. So the tech CEO's status collapsed. While Joe McCann was presented as a high-earning crypto visionary, the CEO of Asymmetric, transcripts suggest his fund was under immense pressure, or quote-unquote bleeding, was under immense pressure or bleeding financially. In the crypto VC world, investors buy the founder's charisma. If the money was gone, his identity as the man was, or that guy, as they say, his identity was collapsing. So now, that's his end of the story, right? Let's look at the IG baddie, the influencer, the influencer narrative, the IG baddie / influencer narrative. Ashley's platform was built on leveling up and the soft life. She was a stabilizing asset to his brand, a beautiful younger partner who signaled his success. Okay, so you know she was a trophy. You know, it is what it is. This is nothing new. This is since the beginning of time. Now, the conflict of reality. The tragedy likely occurred when the performative highlight reel met the financial and emotional underbelly. Okay, so if Ashley began questioning the reality behind the bawling image, the true state of the fund or his past, she transitioned in that event. She transitioned from a brand asset to a liability, and McCann could not control her.
Oh my God!
Nasty work, guys. So this is my speculation. Either he found out something about her, or she found out something about him, or he exposed something about her, or she exposed something about him, or he was high, or she was high. You know what I'm saying? And you know, this probably led up to, you know, now the fact that he's trying to cover it up and act like nothing happened. He continued posting on the internet like it was probably a scheduled post. It's probably, you know, nothing to whatever. Like, okay, whatever, cool. You know what I mean? But you know, I'm pretty sure this guy is not your typical murderer. You know what I mean? He's not. You know, he's not a steal your shit and help you find it kind of guy. You know what I'm saying?
Oh hell no!
I don't think he's that kind of guy. Listen, I think he was in oh shit mode. I think that's really what it was. He was in oh shit mode, and he needed to think of something. And he's in this foreign country, and with this dead girl on his hands, like what the fuck, you know? And he's counting up his bread, and he's like, okay, how can I buy my way out of this at least? Like he's pretty desperate. You know, another speculation could be that she might have wound up pregnant. She might have wound up pregnant. From my past experiences, the most heated arguments I've ever had, I'm gonna leave that right there. Okay, I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? I've been in some heated arguments. You know what I mean? Either she went from becoming a brand asset to becoming a liability, and then that proved fatal.
Oh my God!
So that's the criminal element of it. Let's get into the social element. The two Americas framing and the divestment movement provide sociological backdrop for why this case has become so polarized. Cultural grooming and mismatched power. There's a distinct cultural gap in how this is a good one. There's a distinct cultural gap in how Black women are prepared to navigate the specific power imbalances of high status interracial dating. This includes the racial privilege gap in foreign jurisdictions. So remember, she's a Miami thot from New Jersey, right? Like let's keep it let's keep a spade a shovel. And you call yourself, you know, you have your cultural what's the word? You come from this culture. You come from a culture generally typically built on trauma. The Black American culture is generally built on trauma. The way we talk to our children, the way we handle our children, it is what it is. Like, you know what I mean? And we are, you know, no takeaway. We are a very resilient people. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of the culture is built on trauma. I said what I said. And these traumas are nuances to other cultures. They kind of go over those people's heads. You know what I mean? And so when you date someone, you don't date them. You date their mentality. You date their family. You date their culture. You don't just date them. You date everything that made them. This is why it's called a relationship. A relationship. It's a relationship, right? And so culturally, a lot of black women are not fit to socially interact and date on an intimate level with these white men who come from the status that they come from. Let's just keep a spade a shovel. They say it outright themselves. They say it out loud themselves. They're like, yo, we can't do the things you do to white men. The things we normally do, accustomed to doing to black men, we can't get away with white men. No, we can't do that. They'll say this out loud online. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Like, come on. So they know they have to put on the mask. You know what I mean? And I think what a lot of people are touching on the internet, a lot of the women are avoiding, is that her mask came off while she was out there.
Oh my God!
Her mask came off. Something happened. Something was revealed or exposed, or something happened, and her mask came off, and she showed her true colors and ultimately showed her ass. And he wasn't ready for it. And what happened.
Oh hell no!
So let's get into the international differential. In East Africa, a white American male often operates with a level of economic and diplomatic deference. So yeah, let's just say we separated rooms, right? Here's a few dollars. You know what I mean? The concern is that this racial privilege could influence a local investigation or make a quote-unquote suicide narrative easier to sell to authorities than it would be in the United States. And that's the terrible part. The social flex versus genuine connection. A segment of the discourse argues that for some, dating out is used as a jab at black men. Because Ashley was a vocal proponent of this, her death has been met with ambivalence or lack of sympathy from parts of the manosphere who view her tragedy through the lens of her previous rhetoric, rather than as a human life lost. So yes, we lost a life. We lost a life. You know what I'm saying? And that's nothing to play with. We are all but candles in the wind. You know what I mean? We are all but candles in the wind. However, there is the undertone and the underbelly of this. Of who this woman publicly presented herself, of how this woman publicly presented herself, plays a part in the reverence for her life. We can't deny that. We would like to, as much as we would like to be the bigger person, we can't ignore the legacy that she's created for herself. You know what I'm saying? That can't be overlooked or thrown out the window. You know, this woman has established a stance and a brand for herself. So what are we supposed to think? How can you blame these people? When those women celebrated on Kevin Samuel's graves, I couldn't blame them. The amount of hurt and trauma they felt from his production, I couldn't blame them for feeling what they felt. They had a right to feel what they felt. You know what I mean? And we could shame them and throw stone at them for doing what they did when he died, but they had a right to. You know what I mean? There's a difference between being attacked and being offended. You can't control someone being offended. You can control attacking them, but you can't control being offended of them. You can't control them being offended. They have a right to feel what they feel, you know? And so in the same way, those same women, whoever they are, they can't get mad when black men are just like, oh, word? You know what I'm saying? Like, my bad. That's crazy.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? You can't fault them. You can't fault them. People are gonna people. Humans are gonna humans. You know, it is what it is. It is what it is. The strategic takeaways and the red flags. To move past the sensationalism, the situation must be viewed through these behavioral and structured red flags. Behavioral contradiction. A person who has just lost their fiance does not typically go silent for 11 hours. Avoid the victim's family and continue posting business content. No, we don't. That's not normal, sir. The liability factor. If Ashley had visibility into McCann's actual financials or his dark past, quote unquote, the motive for an altercation moves from emotional to strategic. And the jurisdictional advances, the choice location and the subsequent handling of the investigation by Tanzanian officials who initially held McCann's passport suggests a situation where economic and racial status played a role in the immediate aftermath. So that's another thing to consider as well. This was a high-pressure relationship in a volatile state during a personal downturn. You know what I mean? It wasn't what it was cracked up to be. That's the moral of the story. Moral of the story. It wasn't what it was cracked up to be. Divestors, sorry. Sorry, divestors. I mean, you had your dream, you know what I'm saying? But oh well, you know what I mean? The takeaway isn't a simple race issue. It's a warning about the vanity of social media and the danger of building a life on a foundation of performance. I know. Relationships are never what they seem on social media. In this case, the gap between the digital image of luxury and love and the reality of pressure and secrets provide to be fatal. Or prove to be fatal. Yes, prove to be fatal. Yeah. The lesson is one of discernment. A man's risk profile, financial instability, ego-driven identity, and control issues exist independently of his race. So Joe McCann was not a white man; he was just a man. He was just a man trying to figure this thing out. You know what I mean? And he had this chick. He's on this trip. He's spending all this money. You know what I mean? And she's a New Jersey thought moved to Miami, giving him all this attitude, and he's like, what the fuck? He's stressed out. They have a nasty argument. And then they need to separate rooms, right?
Oh, hell no.
The lesson, a man's risk profile exists independently of his race, but the systems of protection available to him after a tragedy are often dictated by it. So that's ultimately the ugly side of it. The fact that he is or is trying to get away with it in a different country, in a corrupt government, where you can, where a little bit of US dollar goes a long way. You know what I mean? Like that's the saddest part of it. You know what I mean? But other than that, we can take whatever precautionary tale that we need to take from this matter. I think this is it. Once again, this is a beautiful, God rest her soul. This is a beautiful case study in the racial dynamics in the West, in America, and how that plays out, how that can play out in real life. You know what I mean? Because once again, racism is in the mind, but this is how it can play out in real life. You know what I mean? And we have to be very vigilant, very vigilant. Black women, y'all gotta fess up and make up. Y'all really do. Come on, enough is enough. Y'all gotta fess up and make up, and get where you need to be. Get under a good, loving, healthy black man. If you can find one, please, black women, get in place. It doesn't matter who you are. What matters is your position. You got to get in position, because enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? And this could really be the tip of the iceberg. Tighten up.